Even though I had the schedule in mind of one episode recap every 2 to 3 days, which I've surprisingly actually followed so far, I know all of you have already binged the whole season, so I thought we could just take a little jump and do episode 14 and 15 in one video. If you need a full in-depth recap of episode 11, 12, and 13, those are linked in the description and at the end screen of this video, but to quickly bring it up to speed, we left off with Angelina on her way to kill the second of the two witnesses. First was Fiona, and now Daly is barely hanging on. And as the show parallels the Bible, the blueprint tells us that once Daly is gone, the end of the world will begin. Moses Daly has at least one more plague in him, and Cal is looking like our only hope at solving callings now that everyone is locked up and the government is more worried than ever. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification button for more Manifest content, and let's start with Season 4, Episode 14. Jesus man, I'm probably gonna say this so wrong, but Fata Morgana? Man, these two really have been through the ringer. Wait, are they just gonna leave the dead body in the other room? Like, doesn't it start smelling bad pretty instant? You know what? I'm just not gonna question it too much for now. Ben has a calling of the water turning into blood as he looks up and sees Daly in the mirror. Yep, the water is definitely turning red in this episode, bro. It just has to. As Angelina gets closer to New York, some traffic cams caught her and Jared is on the hunt to find her. Mick sees Zeke again in the glow, but as his time in there is coming to an end, he is starting to forget who she is and go back to his 2018 self. And Sanvi brings in Daly's son so she can run some DNA tests and stuff. You know her, she's always doing some science stuff that I don't really understand. Alright, let's go. The water is turning into blood. Well, I guess not let's go, but you get it. Shit's about to go down. And as it turns into blood everywhere throughout the facility, very good visual by the way, everyone obviously starts panicking. Sanvi thinks that if she uses the serum she created that got rid of her callings on Daly, it could possibly disconnect him from the glow and possibly stop the plagues. She brings in Daly's son for his bone marrow, and again, I'm not exactly sure how accurate this is or what's even happening, but by combining Daly DNA with the serum, it could be the cure to the plagues. And of course, Angelina is spying in on them in the form of one of the detention center security guards. Notice right here how Sanvi sees her but Ben doesn't. I just love this little clue. This episode's main dud is the passenger giving birth. Mick steps up and turns into a doctor out of nowhere, but yeah, there's nothing really to take away from this. It doesn't take up too much time, but it's definitely, it feels out of place. Cal and Olive see on the monitor that was recording Fiona what really happened, so now Cal is going to try and channel Angelina into a calling and I guess convince her to stop, but we know how this goes with her. Of course she's just not budging and she wants them to work together because they are both quote-unquote anointed by God with the sapphire, and at least Cal got her location so someone can hopefully just run her over before she gets to New York. And right on cue, Vance and Jared pull up to the house, a very unexpected but cool duo, and I'm liking Jared more this season too. Okay, yeah, this body has to smell awful, right? It's been there for a good amount of time. Vance is gonna help them clean this mess up, and Cal tells Jared where he saw Angelina, and I feel like Jared's got this. I trust him to get this one done. While spying in on the lab, Angelina heard everything Daly's son had to say about their past, and also saw that the guards were ready to kill Daly at any moment out of fear of the plagues. So she projects to Daly as his son and tells him that he should just die, just says a bunch of awful stuff, and this drives him to trying to break out of the room. Guards are there locked and loaded, but Angelina's projection convinces Daly to keep going as he gets shot down. We need a quick moment of silence for Daly. He did not deserve to go out like this, especially not getting to talk to his real son one more time. Okay, thank God. At the same time this is happening, Jared finally catches a defenseless Angelina. But geez man, this scene got me. It definitely had my eyes a little misty. We end the episode with Mick talking with Zeke one last time as he's now fully back in the cave in 2018. But we get this really cool full circle moment where she's the one who gives him the find her calling. Classic Manifest montage, and then Daly's blood is leaking into the drainage system connected to the river nearby, and now what I'm assuming is like the Hudson River, it's the East River or something close by New York, is turning into blood. Man, everything is going to The 828 hate is at an all-time high now with the Blood River. Zimmer is using Angelina to find the missing passengers who we find out are being led by Amuda at the safe house. Unexpected hero right there. Shout out to him. But it's not like Zimmer and Angelina are necessarily working together. She's pretty much just threatening her into helping. And if it couldn't get any worse, Papa Steve has a heart attack and Amuda turns himself into the detention center. Episode 15's intro was pretty brutal. As Mick and Ben are waiting for answers on if their dad is even alive at this point, she has a calling of a creek. Nothing too significant about it, but she can use it to leave the facility and go solve it. But if she leaves, it looks like she's not coming back. Angelina uses her powers to try and give Zimmer a location of the safe house, but this causes earthquake tremors throughout the whole facility. And as Ben and Amuda are figuring out Zimmer's plan, they have to find a way to save the passengers at the safe house. Just cutting through some of the fat, Mick escapes and cuts the tracker out of her arm. TJ gets a note from Olive that Mick's dad brought in, telling him about Angelina and the Sapphire, and long story short, him, Egan, and the janitor. Last trio I would expect, but they are on the hunt for her and the Omega Sapphire around the facility. Ben's plan is to convince Zimmer to let him speak to the angry citizens outside, knowing that it'll be broadcasted on television, and he's going to use the code word the safe house had, chicken coop, which means they need to flee the scene. It was pretty weird hearing Ben cuss here. Like, have they ever cussed on this show? But luckily the plan works because they saw it on TV, but Ben took a rock to the head in the process. Even though I hate Zimmer, it was kinda cool seeing her shut down Angelina right here. Okay, I'm serious, man. This is not how friends interact with each other. But Zimmer just gets straight to the point and has Angelina sedated so they can cut the Sapphire right out of her hand. Honestly, even though I'm sure she's not a good option on who should have the Sapphire, at least she's not trying to bring on the end of the world, so I'm game for this. When they try to cut it, however, it breaks apart and dissolves into Angelina's veins. Sanvi and Ben finally get a chance to talk, and he thinks they should inject her with the serum that gets rid of callings. But Sanvi rightfully points out that they don't know what damage this could cause. Ben doesn't care though, and with no hesitation injects her, and yeah, Sanvi was right. Even stronger tremors than before tear apart the facility as every single passenger hears a high-pitched ring as they all pass out from a super migraine. Egan and TJ had finally made it to the room right next to the lab, and this is why we can never trust this guy. Egan just wants the Sapphire back, so he takes Angelina with him as he escapes with her. Now, this is the first time that we've seen Ben really mess up bad. Like, when he did what he just did, every single passenger just lost their ability to get callings. And we know the only way to stop the death date, I don't want to sound like a broken record. We round out the episode with Mick, Jared, and Mick's dad going to Tariq's cabin as Mick and Jared finally get back together, ready to start this new life on the run. Angelina and Egan make it to the safe house, and Sanvi is transferred to another facility, but not before finding out the river turning red was from red algae only brought on by volcanic activity. And as TJ points out, the world card from Alzurus' deck has a red river leading up to it. The card has been warning them this whole time that a massive volcano is going to be what causes the end of the world. Again, a quick RIP to the two witnesses. We knew them coming back would be important, but for the 4 episodes that they were there, it was just great. And just when we thought Egan couldn't get any worse, he's now helping Angelina as she continues her path to Armageddon. But the very obvious issue now is there's no more solving callings if no one can get them, and of course I know there's always hope with these guys, but with Daily dead and now this, is there really any way for them to stop the death date? Alzurus and his tarot deck have always been important, but now seeing that the world card has been the main clue this whole time, I wonder if his other callings from previous seasons will come into play. Cause now that's kinda all they have to go off of, and I'm really excited for this because 1, it obviously brings everything full circle, but 2, they're gonna have to go back to the basics, season 1 and 2 vibes, like the essence of the show. So I guess for now we're in the same boat as them. Just wait for chaos to ensue. Episode 14 was more for developments as 15 kind of sets us up for the end, but I still really enjoyed them both. I just thought there was a kind of a lot more fat than the other episodes. That's why I combined them into one video. Man, I was doing good on the video every 3 days schedule, but work's just been picking up this last week, so I'm doing what I can. But I think as of now, June 11th, while I'm recording this, we're on pace to finish the season like the last week of June, maybe a little bit earlier, like the 22nd. But I think that works out better so we don't just end so quickly. And I say all of this knowing you've all already seen every episode, but you know how we do it here. As always, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification button, and I'll see you guys very, very soon for episode 16.